Hey everyone. So, after publishing the Near Vision Outlook for March 2021, let's continue with the NVA side of things. The first unit we'll be getting, this was announced already, so it is to no one's surprise, is Untamed Wolf Edel free unit. We will be getting her throughout the month of March. You're gonna have to do some quests, just like Charlotte and Faisal this month. So this should be familiar to you. Get her because we're getting a free 1/10 NV ticket out of this, and a few Gigantor Cactuar or Vision Card Cactuars out of this. So it's nice, a nice addition to everyone. 15 free Vision Card Cactuars pretty much throughout the month. So, Untamed Wolf Edel in her base form doesn't really gain much. She has no new abilities. She gains some autocast stuff, a little bit static HP, 150 increased LB passive, but that's all about it. She has a 50% beast killer on her near vision LB, but it's nothing really to scoff at. We've got better ones. Even Raegen comes to mind. And in her Brave Shift, Untamed Wolf Edel becomes a wind evocation damage dealer. Pair her with Warrior of Light Bartz and Faras, and she might do some serious damage, but as you can see, all the modifiers, they are super low. You might as well just dump her. I don't think she's good. She's not good at all. She only has 100 LB increase, for example, winning her Wind Evoke and LB chain is rather weak. So yeah, let's skip right ahead. It's the third time I'm talking about Edel's Near Vision Awakened. It's not good. Let's move ahead. Next up is Raegen. And Raegen is really good. He becomes a Super Saiyan in his Brave Shift, but we'll get to that. So the base form gets a few things, such as a fire or ice imbue, which he was kind of missing. He also gains innate triple cast and an absolute mirror of equity chain with 2 attacks. The first one is a 70x attack, the other one is a 35 attack dodge. Alright, some nice modifier increases, 110x, 50x to the main things he's using. He gets some demon and human killer at 100%, so not too bad. And also 90% equipment attack when dual wielding, so it's nothing to scoff at. His new LB is rather weak-ish, only 100% in peril to fire and ice, 21x attack to all. With Raegen, it is all about the Brave Shift, where, as you can see, he becomes a Super Saiyan with the yellowish aura around him. It looks really cool in-game, though. And he gains a lot of more abilities. Let me check. You can see all of this pretty well. Yep. So, he is an LB Chainer in his Brave Shift at 150x. That is super high value. That is a really high value, and what's more is, look at the passive side of things down below where the mouse is hovering over. He has 200 innate LB. He's super easy to gear for his limit burst. That is a huge wow. He also has 6x chain cap. Raegen Brave Shift is the real deal, guys. I'm telling you, don't sleep on him. And you know what's best? I got 10 copies of him lying around after having his STMR. I'm gonna get that EX plus 2 right out of the gate. I'm hyped. I never had so many copies of a unit lying around. So that was something cool. Well, technically I do have. I had enough Lunar Freyas to get Duty to the World 3 times. I might do the same with Raegen once he releases. So, but again, I'm gonna EX plus 2 him right away. Anyway. He also has a Fire Ice Imbue. He does some nice things. So he technically, if you're using him for chaining, for example, the starter straight chains, his stronger one at 200x is a light physical damage attack. And it's also dotting, so damage over time. The enemy at 65x per turn for 4 turns, which is cool. He also has a weird cover mechanic, or he can't actually cover damage. I wouldn't use that, but okay, I guess, as it is 90% mitigation for that 1 turn. And yeah, the rest, Absolute Mirror of Equity, top 1, 72x chain. Not too shabby, but really it's all about his super strong limit burst, and that one is strong. I'm telling you, I might actually do a showcase video for Raegen just because his LB is so good. But then again, the cooldown after being once in Brave Shift is quite long, so you have to wait a few turns. But again, we'll talk about Raegen's Brave Shift once he releases. I am personally hyped for him, so I will do some content with him. Next up in the Final Fantasy XIII department is my personal favorite, Serah. Is my favorite character in Final Fantasy XIII. For me personally, she was always the main character of the game, not Lightning. Sorry, Lightning fans. But me personally, I always liked Serah. And I was super happy to have her the main protagonist in Final Fantasy XIII too. So in her base form, she gains some magic abilities, mainly light, which also increases the evocation gauge, which I like. She also has a Magnus for earth magic damage, pretty strong. It also increases LB damage by 150. And funnily enough, the LB didn't change. So, and she also has a, not LB, but earth magic damage at 70x, so it's the better one of the two, that also decreases earth resistance from the enemy by 120 and increases her own magic at 300, so that's pretty decent. And one of her passives increases her LB damage by 150. 150 base LB is pretty cool, and she also gains a fairly low amount of killers, 75% avian and aquatics. So nothing too serious, but her real deal is in her Brave Shift, and I like that a lot because in her Brave Shift she becomes a healer. I like the sprite personally, and she can still do some damage, mind you, but as you can see, the abilities, especially the Grandis or anything below the Grandis, is kind of leaning towards healing. She has a light magic damage, that's the bottom one over here where the mouse is hovering over. It doesn't use MP, but the evocation gauge, and she not only deals damage but also heals the party at bolting strike frames. She increases resistance to the usual breaks, cures stop, and all other ailments, provides a 5k barrier. That's all of this sounds really cool, and her New Vision Awakened LB in her Brave Shift grants resistance to all status ailments, a 7.5k barrier, and it also provides general mitigation at 50% for 5 turns to all allies at the cost of 27 LB crystals, which is super cheap. You might actually get this LB out every once in a while. I mean, all of this lasts 5 turns, right? So you will definitely have 27 LB crystals by the end of all the 5 turns. You might actually have this at the end of turn 2 already. And being a healer and all, she also has some healing capabilities. So the first one over here is Dispel. The next one is Stona. Stona. The next one is Isuna, Re-Raise, Raise, and Kurega is the last one. Oh, wrong. Kuraja. Yeah, Kuraja. Not Ga, but Ja. Okay. So all in all, very, very good healer, and she can dual cast her magic as well. Next up, I've already talked about Warrior of Light Bartz in my Neo Vision Awaken video when I was talking about Fares. And now let's get to him. And this boy, he is probably one of the best, if not the best unit we'll be getting in March. And I had to do some tricks on the slides because he gains a lot of things, such as the triple cast innately, which I almost always found to be kind of weird that he only has dual cast and he couldn't dual cast most of his stuff. This changes. He gains triple cast for pretty much all of his abilities, which is highly appreciated. He can use throwable items, and yeah, he gains a lot of stuff. So a 120 wind imperil on his ground is 130x damage to an enemy. He adds wind elements to one ally and to himself, just like, for example, New Vision Rain does. New Vision Rain imbues someone else other than himself with fire. So New Vision Awakened Bartz does the same, but Bartz also deals damage to all enemies while doing this. His 5-turn cooldown is a 100% beast and plant killer, and it also mitigates damage from both by 30%. As you can see, Bartz gains a lot of things, good things. He needed those very much so. And yeah, he's becoming more of a supporter than actual damage dealer, although you don't sleep on his new LB. It is a 135x LB chain it's an LB finisher, sorry, it's one hit, 135x to all enemies, and it also increases modifiers 10x to one of his main abilities. And what's also cool is on the very next turn, if you're lucky, you're getting 36 LB crystals, so full gauge back, but on average you will get half the LB gauge back. But it's all about his Brave Shift, which actually looks really badass. I like his Brave Shift. The sprite is so cool. But yeah, let's check the most notable things. So on his 5-turn cooldown, available on turn 1, he amplifies wind by 45%. Let that sink in for a second. 45% wind amp. That is huge. There's no ability in the whole game that amplifies party-wide any element at 45%. This is ridiculous. It is ridiculously strong. And what I also like is that he can imbue wind to the whole team. It is on his LB, mind you, but the LB is just pretty much for support. You hit this once, it's fairly cheap at 36 LB crystals, increases LB damage by 100% to all allies, it imbues them with wind for 5 turns even. This is so good. I don't even know what to say. It's Warrior of Light Bartz and his Brave Shift is just pure awesome. He literally, from the sprite to the kit to what he does, he screams, I'm pure awesome, please get me, and I'm super happy. Warrior of Light Bartz is one of my personal favorites. Such a good character. Oh, and by the way, he can also increase his attack by 300. He has plant and beast kill at 100%. It's not much, but boy, this guy's good. And he also increases wind resistance at 100% to all allies. I don't know what to say. Get this guy. He's so good. He's so good. 45% wind amp. This is just huge. It is so good, especially for Fares. It's wow. Let's move on. I can't get myself over with this guy. He's just so good. Next up, Gilgamesh. One of the very oldest units we have. I don't even have his STMR, so I guess. Gilgamesh in his base form gains only one active ability, that is his triple cast that he's getting, and you can use it pretty much with almost all of his active abilities. As you can see, he also gains 6x chain mod cap, which he sorely lacked, or is still sorely lacking as of today. He can dual wield one-handed weapons, which from my point of view has always been an oversight. And yeah, his LB now increases attack, magic, defense, and spirit at 300% to himself for infinity times, which cannot be dispelled, which is pretty cool. It doesn't deal any damage, but it increases his most notable things, as you can see. And it's also enabling some skills, etc, etc. It's more of a power up for his Brave Shift. And excuse me for omitting the triple cast, so he can triple cast every ability that you see on the screen other than the Limit Burst. The Limit Burst is a 130x damage, and he also kind of deals fixed damage to himself, but according to the wiki it's only 1 damage to himself, so who cares. It's not an actual finishing move, but it is a LB chain move at 9 hits and only 26 cost, which is very low and very good. And the rest of it, what's really curious about Gilgamesh is, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, he has 5 total break gauge skills. So he's your guy for breaking break gauges: mace, axe, spear, sword, and katana. This guy is highly flexible. He also has some weird ass chaining families. He's Tornado Chain, for example, or GC, Graviton Cannon. That's rare, but he also has Aurora Ray, AR, and Boarding Strike, but most of them are rather weak, as you can see. So really, all about his shift form is pretty much LB chaining or break gauge breaking. I believe most people I've seen on the JP server just use Gilgamesh for break gauge breaking or LB chaining. That's pretty much all they use him for. I haven't really seen anyone use him for actual damage dealing, and more so just break gauge breaking. And now we all know we're gonna get Full Metal Alchemist, so we are gonna get Roy Mustang's Near Vision Awakened. In the base form, he amplifies fire 30%, not too shabby. He also increases modifiers to one of his main abilities, increases his LB gauge to full pretty much, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's 1/4 of the LB gauge. His LB is fairly expensive at 100 LB crystals, as you can see. And most of his stuff is pretty much just amplifying his abilities, etc, etc. But what's cool is he has 200% demon and human killers on his cooldown. 4-turn cooldown, available turn 1. And he also reduces damage taken by demons and humans by 30%. So for Dark Visions, he's pretty cool. At 200% human demon killer, we need Starlight Lena for a 200% human killer, and she is then locked in her shift form, in a worse shift form, for a couple of turns, whereas Roy Mustang, he just does it and goes on with his day. So I feel like Roy Mustang, when it comes to providing human killer or demon killer, is a step up over Starlight Elena. And then, well, he does have some other things, a new Near Vision Awakened Limit Burst at a huge cost, 100 LB crystals. That is so expensive, and it's not even warranted. The damage it deals, it's 95x fire magic damage. Who thought of 100 LB crystals for such a bad LB? I don't know. Let's move on to the Brave Shift. In his Brave Shift, he is still a magic damage dealer, and here we can see that one is better. It is a single hit, so he's an LB finisher at 140 fire magic damage. So yeah, he's entirely locked to fire, but still, that is better. That is way better than his base form. He has Mystic Cross chains. I hope they... Oh, Mystic Cross is Chaos Wave Awakened on the global server, so Chaos Wave Awakened chains, 72x fire magic, or a 35x fire magic damage with 50% spirit ignore to all enemies. Should be roughly about the same, if I'm not mistaken. Still has the 200% human and demon killer. And what I also like is that he has a fire amp for the party. On his Grandis, it's only unique selection and 2 users per battle, but 25% fire amp 4 turns to the whole party, fire physical and magical, 50% fire resistance to the party, and what's also cool is 50% increased physical accuracy to the party. Too bad he doesn't have a fire imbue for the team, but I guess that would have been a little bit too much to ask for, right? But still, if your team can use fire abilities from other units such as Lock, a 25% fire amp for the team is coming up next, so not too shabby, not too shabby. And with this, we are already at the end of this outlook for Neo Vision Awakened units. So all in all, I feel like the best unit we will be getting, best Neo Vision Awakened unit we will be getting in March is Warrior of Light Bartz, hands down. He's just on a whole nother level. Just think of Tifa, who broke the game early on when we got to Neo Visions. Bartz pretty much breaks the meta by just having 45% amplification to wind. It is beyond awesome. So yeah, we'll have a wind meta for a few weeks until Oracle Luna Freya arrives, that's for sure. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed not only the Neo Vision outlook, but also the Neo Vision Awakened prediction of mine. And let's see how many guesses are correct at the end of the month, shall we? So I was 100% spot on, with the only exception being Untamed with Edel. I'm fairly sure that I will be correct most of the time in March again. So have a nice day, and we'll see each other in the next one. Oh, and please, if you're watching this, please equip your Neo Vision Lightning, so Savior of Souls Lightning, for Behemoth Trial. Dragon, Beast Killer, and maximum LB damage in base, and double rods in the Brave Shift, Confusion Immunity in both, please. And yeah, that is all. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.